Stick around because in this video I'm going to be talking to you about which cleanser you should be using for your skin type, especially if you have acne-prone skin. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If we haven't met yet, then my name is Madison Dohnt and I help you to understand the science behind health so that you can understand your body and become the healthiest version of you. I have been getting asked a lot in my DMs about what cleansers people should be using for all different skin types, and so I wanted to make this video for you guys to discuss what cleanser you should be using if you have oily skin, if you have dry skin, combination skin, and all of that, especially if you are breaking out. So if you have acne-prone skin like me, it's such a fun time. But first of all, the first thing that I want to address is that I actually believe that there should be a one-size-fits-all cleanser. I don't really agree with there being a cleanser for oily skin versus a cleanser for dry skin, and that is because modern medicine and marketing has us believing that if you have dry skin, obviously you're not going to want a drying cleanser, you're going to want something really hydrating, but if you have oily skin, then you need a drying cleanser, whereas that kind of goes against everything that I recommend, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But you can see that kind of model with the drying topicals that we get from the doctors, and also from the ads from like Proactive and all those other skincare brands where they clear the acne by completely stripping the face of the natural oils and drying out the skin that way. And so let me explain to you why that doesn't actually work. So we have sebaceous glands in our skin, and they are the ones that produce sebum, which is oil, and their job is to keep the skin hydrated. But sebum or oil is also really important at protecting our skin, so it's a protective barrier as well against dirt, other toxins, and even bacteria too. The problem comes about when we have too much sebum. Now, you might think that when you have too much sebum, it might be a good idea to dry out that oil on your face, but when you actually do this, your body ends up making more oil. So your body is designed to try and keep an equilibrium, okay? So it's called homeostasis for any of you out there who want to kind of dive into the science of it a little bit deeper, but our body constantly wants to maintain a homeostasis. So if you have high testosterone levels, which I do talk about in this video here, I talk about how that causes sebum or an increase in the sebum production. So if you do have a higher than normal sebum production, which is common in most acne-prone skin types, then that is your normal according to the levels in your body, even though that might be due to other things being thrown off, like your testosterone being in excess. But if we're just talking about the level of sebum, that is your normal. If you use topicals or cleansers that are drying and they strip the skin, what happens is that your face completely freaks out. Your body goes, what is happening? We've produced all of this oil to protect the skin and hydrate the skin, and now something's come along and completely just stripped it. We need to make more. So what your body or what your face and your skin will actually end up doing is making more sebum because it thinks, oh, well, if I feel dry, I must not be making enough sebum, which if you've got oily, acne-prone skin, we know is the complete opposite of what it should think, because really there is way too much sebum. But if you use a drying cleanser, your skin registers that as we're not making enough, and it will actually end up making more, and therefore you will continue to break out. So with that said, the way to combat acne is to address the root cause internally. So for example, addressing, say, if it is the testosterone that's causing the increased sebum, you need to address the testosterone, not the sebum through topicals, because like we just said, it is kind of like that feedback loop where you will only be making the matters worse. So as far as the cleanser that you use and what you use topically, you want to be hydrating your skin. You don't want to be using heavy oils or anything like that. I don't want you to add to the problem, but you do want to be using water-soluble, hydrating cleansers and serums or anything like that so that your skin is nourished and loved. the last thing that you want to do is completely strip it and punish your skin and have it feeling red raw, because that's just not how you heal. You don't heal by being red, raw, itchy and dry. So you always want to nourish your skin, and that is best done with a hydrating cleanser. So yeah, just make sure that it's not like an oily cleanser if you have oily skin. And that's why I say that really there should be a one size fits all when it comes to cleansers, because if you have oily skin, you still want to nourish your skin, so you still want it to be hydrating. And if you have dry skin, well, you definitely need it to be hydrating. So either way, you need to be able to make sure that you have a cleanser that is hydrating and has really nice water-soluble ingredients. So there's a few key ingredients that I have in my cleanser, but I have seen in quite a few cleansers, and they are natural ingredients. And it may not be that these are the only ingredients in your cleanser, they're not in mine, but they are the main active ingredients. And these ingredients that I'm going to tell you about, they actually have their own healing properties. So the first one that I've written down is aloe vera. So aloe vera is antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, it's an antioxidant. I've got something else written down too from my research. It's anti-aging. So they're the main ones though. So basically you think if you have acne, then that's due to the P. acne bacteria that are getting trapped in your pores because of the excess sebum. So number one, reduce the sebum by not drying out your face and forcing your skin to make more. Number two, the aloe vera is antibacterial, so it will help keep that P. acne bacteria under control. It's also anti-inflammatory, and that is the last of the three things really that contributes towards inflammatory acne. So I've actually made a video on the 3 things that cause all pimples or all inflammatory acne anyway, like not blackheads because they're not inflammatory. But aloe vera is also, if you have ever used it on sunburn, it's probably more common in Australia to do that. It's just soothing, hydrating, anti-inflammatory, and then we've also learnt that it is antibacterial and antiviral as well. So aloe vera gets a big tick from me. And the next one is green tea. Now you've probably heard me speak about green tea on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram a lot, because I never used to be obsessed with green tea. It's only since I started researching and looking at the studies of plants and doing my naturopathy degree, although I kind of stumbled across green tea when I was doing research for an acne video, so I didn't even really get taught it yet at uni. But green tea is incredible, and it combats those 3 things that cause all acne that I was talking about. So it's antibacterial, combats the P. acne bacteria. It is anti-inflammatory, so it combats the inflammation. And a study that I found also shows that it actually reduces sebum production. So that's all the 3 things that cause acne. So yeah, green tea is amazing. I drink green tea, but it's also amazing topically. So I also will like make up a tea, and then instead of drinking it, I'll get like makeup pads and just like put it on my face, which it seems a bit weird to kind of put tea that you've made for you to drink on your face, but it works really, really well. And it just kind of reduces the inflammation and shrinks all the pimples really quick. So I'll do that especially if I have an important event coming up and my face is not behaving, then I will just apply green tea topically. So if you can get that in your cleanser, another big tick from me. So there's a bunch of really useful ingredients, and I have done a couple of videos on different products and reviewed the ingredients in there, but the last one that I really want to mention is cucumber. So cucumber has all of these amazing properties as well, and obviously it's super hydrating. What have I written down here? So super hydrating, anti-inflammatory, and cucumber also has vitamin K in it, so it's super brightening. It's also really good for dark circles, and just kind of brightens up your dark spots. And who doesn't want that when you're suffering with acne and you've got all your acne scars as well? So cucumber is another awesome one. Also, it has been found that cucumber is actually very cleansing itself, so it's really good at detoxifying waste and removing any chemical toxins or anything like that present in the skin or just throughout the body as well. So that one also gets another big tick from me. And the cleanser that I use, so I currently use the Skinstitute Gentle Cleanser. It's not 100% active, it's not 100% natural, but I have found like it's mostly natural, and I found that it really hydrates my skin. It feels super nourishing. A really big tip to know whether your cleanser is too drying or not is if you feel like a squeaky clean feeling at the end. Although you may associate that with being clean, it's not good. It means that it's drying out your skin. So you don't want to feel like completely stripped of your oils and squeaky clean. You want to feel really nourished and plumped and hydrated. So I do have a photo, if I can find it, I'll pop it up here. This is what my face looked like when I was using Cetaphil. So it was red and raw. This is also before I started using Biologi serum as well, but that's a whole nother topic. But when I was using Cetaphil, particularly when I was using their acne-prone cleanser, it was just completely, and their acne-prone moisturizer actually, because it's marketed as acne-prone, its purpose is to reduce the oil in the skin and dry out the breakouts, which, look, it does work as like a spot treatment to dry out your breakouts, but it's really not the best ongoing for you, and your body will end up making more sebum. So yeah, I just really found those Cetaphil products, even though they were for acne-prone oily skin, they were just causing my face to be red raw, and it was itchy, and it was just cracking and dry, and it was awful. Also, the best way to remove makeup, so in my opinion, and also in my skin therapist's, I don't actually know if it's called a skin therapist. It makes me think of like a psychologist. The wonderful lady from Skin Vice called Claire, who does my facials, she also said, she agreed with me in that it's amazing to remove your makeup just by doing a double cleanse with your cleanser. So that way you're not, you know and trust your cleanser, you know it's good for your skin, and you're not bringing in another product, I guess, that strips your makeup off. So I just double cleanse with the Skin Institute Gentle Cleanser of a night, and just cleanse once in the morning because I don't have any makeup to wash off after sleeping. And I found that it removes my makeup amazingly, and that's my favorite way to remove my makeup. Should you cleanse in the morning? So I know that some people are for this, some people are against this. I'm neither, so I just told you that I cleanse in the morning, but my mum doesn't, and she swears by not using products to cleanse. She just uses water, but she doesn't have acne-prone skin. I just say listen to your body. If you find that you are waking up and your skin is quite oily from all the natural oils that have come to the surface overnight, then you might find it better to cleanse in the morning. And yeah, I just like doing that because it's like starting afresh. But yeah, I guess it would just depend. If you have dry skin, maybe you don't want to cleanse of a morning. But again, if your cleanser is hydrating, then maybe that is best for you. So I would just give it a go, try it out, trial and error, see what works best for your skin, because everyone's body and everyone's skin is slightly different. So it's just what works best for you. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm for or against it, just yeah, whatever works for you. Another tip I want to give you, probably the last tip in this video, is that every single morning before I cleanse, I do a hot compress. So you just get a washer or a face towel or whatever you want to call it, and I run it under boiling hot water. So I make the tap as hot as it will go, and I run it under hot water, and then I just get it and press it on my face and hold it. And what it's actually doing is it's hydrotherapy. So basically, you would probably know if you're cold, your muscles all want to tense up. When you're warm, it's easier to relax. So this is the case with anything. So heat makes things open and expand, and the cold makes things contract, even like cracks in the road and that kind of thing. So what happens is when you put the hot compress on your face, your pores actually open up, and it allows the cleanser to get in and flush out whatever's in there, and it just allows the blood to come to the surface. And what that does is, obviously your white blood cells are in your blood, and so if you open or dilate the blood vessels and allow the blood to come up through the capillaries to the top of the skin, it doesn't look crazy or anything like that. Like obviously you might look a bit blush because it's like being in a hot shower, but really allowing that blood to rush up to the capillaries to the surface of the skin just helps that blood to get any of the toxins or bacteria or dead skin cells that need to be, I guess, flushed away, and it kind of collects them and flushes them out through the blood. So that's one way that I like to do that, or that's one thing that the hot compress does. And yeah, like I said, it just really opens up the pores and loosens everything up. And it also is a great exfoliator. So it's just a soft cotton face towel, and so it's not like abrasive or anything crazy, but it still has a little bit of friction, and so depending on where my blemishes are and how like sensitive they are, I'll just kind of like rub it over my face. And I also find that any kind of dead skin will just roll away with the heat and the washer as well. So it's just kind of like a gentle exfoliator. And yeah, so I do that every single morning. I don't do it overnight because usually when I'm cleansing, I'm in the shower, and then I'll just double cleanse, and you know, I've got the hot water on my face and I kind of open up my pores that way. But every single morning, yeah, I use a hot compress. And like I said, even though mum doesn't use like a cleanser or a product as such, she's actually very minimal when it comes to skincare. She still uses the hot compress every morning, which is where I learnt it from. And it's a really great tip because it kind of just, it's just so nice to put hot washer on your face of a morning, even in summer. And then if you want, you can cleanse your face with cold water, and that's just bringing that hydrotherapy in, because it's really good to detox by bringing the blood up and opening up the pores. And then when you use your cleanser, you flush it out, like flush everything out, and then use the cold water to kind of close the pores again so that they're not open and ready to collect all of the dirt and dead skin cells and all that fun stuff. So I hope this video has been super helpful on what cleansers you should be aiming to use. Just make sure that you are loving your skin and nourishing it and just showing it lots of care, because your skin is breaking out due to an internal issue, due to a root cause. So the acne isn't actually the problem. You shouldn't be punishing your skin and punishing yourself by just like stripping it and throwing. A lot of cleansers, they strip it with alcohols. So if you look in the ingredients and you have an ingredient that ends in OL, then it's probably an alcohol or a type of alcohol. So it doesn't necessarily have to say alcohol in the ingredients. But yeah, just if it ends in OL. So that's probably an indication of a product that might strip your natural oils. But other than that, just make sure that you're showing your body a lot of love. Your cleanser should be used to nourish the skin and hydrate it so that your body doesn't need to make more sebum and more oil as a result. And then all of your healing should really be done internally, because that's where the problem's coming from. So all those drying topicals that the doctors give you, they're really just to spot treat to dry out that particular pimple, but they're not going to be the answers to your problems. The pimples are still going to come up because there's still that internal cause causing them. So that's kind of what I teach on the rest of my channel. If you haven't checked out my other videos already, is to really heal internally, because otherwise it's just like a rat race, clearing your breakouts, but they keep coming back up, and then clearing them and they keep coming back up. So you really need to get to that root cause. But if you liked this video, then please make sure to like it below, and also comment down below what cleanser you use and what your favorite lesson from this video was, so what you took away from it. If you haven't already, also make sure to go and join us over on Instagram, because I have a beautiful community over there and we are all working together to become the healthiest version of ourselves, and I pass on health tips and also a lot of research findings throughout the weeks as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video next week.